What's up everybody, welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers Report. And if this is your first time watching the channel, make sure to subscribe right now because you're your #1 source for all things Texas Rangers related on YouTube. But also if this is your first time, make sure to join the Discord. That link will be in the description down below. And just in case, if you guys don't know what the Discord is, that's basically just like a big group chat. So in the Discord we talk live game, Rangers chats, news, rumors, trades, and the MLB draft. So if you guys haven't done those two things, make sure to do that right now. So in this video, obviously there has been a lot that has gone on in the past 24 to 48 hours, but I'm going to be touching on the Willie Calhoun DFA and the Steele Walker call up to the big leagues. I already touched on the Ezekiel Durant call up to the major leagues. That was a live stream, so if you haven't checked that out, go do that right now. That was like a 15-minute video, and it's just crazy that the Rangers have already called up 3 prospects in the span of a week. Take that as you will. There's been a mixture of injuries that have been a reason for these call-ups, but also I think it's the Rangers' lack of offensive firepower, especially against right-handed pitching. I mean, the Rangers actually crushed left-handed pitching, but just look at the call-ups. Josh Smith, who is a lefty. Steele Walker, who is a lefty as well. Those guys are supposed to hit right-handed pitching pretty well. And then Ezekiel Durant, I hope he can stay at the major leagues for the entirety of his career. But if you saw his at-bat yesterday against Diego Castillo in the bottom of the 9th, he looked helpless against Castillo's slider. Obviously, he did rack up his first MLB hit and his first MLB home run, turning over 100-mile-an-hour fastball over the fences. So that looked promising, but a lot of people face fastballs nowadays. But he looked helpless against that slider. If I'm being realistic, he probably gets sent down to AAA, which is still technically a promotion, but we just need a third base spot because Ibanez has been terrible. Culberson's been all right, but he still hasn't been the best. So honestly, Durant has probably been your best option, but you're just waiting for Brad Miller to get back, Josh Smith to get back, and then Durant might get sent back down. But Willie Calhoun has been struggling so bad, and it led to the Rangers to DFA him. And it all goes back with the struggles versus right-handed pitching. And believe it or not, but almost everybody in the Rangers lineup struggles against right-handed pitching this year. Corey Seager struggled, Mitch Garver struggled, Marcus Semien has struggled. The only few people that have been a little bit above average are Dolis Garcia and Jonah Heim. That's why the Rangers have played Zach Rex every now and then. Obviously, that hasn't really panned out. Who knows how longer he's in our organization. So Steele Walker has been playing decently down at AAA. If you guys don't remember, Steele Walker was a 2nd-round pick by the Chicago White Sox in 2019 out of OU, and we acquired him in the Nomar Mazara trade. So just for your information on that one, and he's been playing pretty well in AAA. He was actually Rule 5 eligible last season. The Rangers didn't protect him. Doesn't really matter now since he's on the 40-man and playing in the majors. He had his MLB debut last night. Didn't rack up a hit, but he did have a fly ball deep to center field, 400 feet, almost was a home run, but because of like the 410 to Globe Life Field, didn't go out. But in order to create this 40-man spot, the Rangers designate Willie Calhoun for assignment. Like I said, Calhoun's just struggled at the majors this year, and he said about a month ago, I'm going to go prove myself in AAA in order to get traded. He didn't really prove himself in AAA. I wouldn't be surprised if he still got traded. I'll touch on that later in the video. But since Willie Calhoun was still in the minor leagues, we still needed to create an active 26-man roster spot. So we optioned Andy Ibanez down to the minor leagues. So our bench is still around 3 right now. And just remember, Brad Miller will be coming back soon. So I would assume that we probably option Colby Allard because it makes sense to get as much bats on the team as possible with how bad we've been struggling. That's just my opinion. But yeah, Banya's down, Willie Calhoun DFA'd, Steele Walker up. I really hope Steele can stay at the majors, and I hope that Ezekiel Durant can stay at the major leagues. They'll get an extended look with Josh Smith hurt and with Brad Miller hurt for a while, but if they don't turn it around soon, who knows? Steele Walker's already 25 years old, so it's not like he's the youngest prospect like Ezekiel Durant, who's 23. And remember, whenever Nomar Mazara came into the big leagues, he was already 21, which is actually kind of crazy. But now touching on Willie Calhoun, since he was designated for assignment yesterday, the Rangers have 7 days to either trade him, release him, or have a team claim him off waivers. And since Willie Calhoun used to be a top 100 prospect, he had a decent season in 2019, and his career's just been hampered with injuries and unproductive play. I still think he has some trade interest, and the teams that I would look to, the Kansas City Royals, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Oakland Athletics, just because those are some of the worst teams in the league. I know some of you guys might say the Pittsburgh Pirates, but they actually are doing a little better than expected. I still don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I mean, they have Daniel Vogelbach, they have Ben Gamel, and for a guy like Willie Calhoun, that's really just a DH and a left fielder, and really doesn't provide much of anything in left field. The Pittsburgh Pirates don't really need him, even though Ben Gamel's only on a 1-year deal and Daniel Vogelbach's on a 1-year deal with a club option. I think it makes sense for them just to keep those guys. And I mean, the Royals have just been garbage this year, the worst team in the American League. They might take a flyer on Calhoun because everybody in that lineup has an OPS below 700, I believe. And for me, I would be okay going after a guy like Brad Keller. Obviously, Willie Calhoun wouldn't get the deal done for Brad Keller. This guy has been a solid starting pitcher ever since he came to the big leagues at 22 years old. Always had a WAR around 2 or 1.5, somewhere in that area. He's injured right now, got off to the season hot. He has 2 years of club control remaining, meaning this year and next year. Obviously, the Royals will probably want to keep him for the trade deadline, but maybe if the Rangers sweeten the deal a little bit, they could get it done. So what I'm saying is maybe throw in a prospect like Tavares or Wenzel or Apostle or Rex. I'm okay with throwing in a prospect to get a pretty good starting pitcher, like a 4th or 3rd star in the rotation, because I don't trust Taylor Hearn at all. And Glenn Otto can be shaky sometimes. Obviously, Martin Perez, Dane Dunning, and John Gray will be fixtures in the rotation this year, but I still trust Glenn Otto. It's just he's a little shaky, but Taylor Hearn, don't trust him at all. But I do think he could be really effective out of the bullpen, kind of in a similar role as Brock Burke. Because if you remember back in 2020, he was lights out of the bullpen. You look at his baseball savant numbers, they are insane. But this year, they are all so bad, and we're kind of struggling to get through 4 innings with Taylor Hearn. It's really bad. Another team I would look at, like I said, is the Athletics. You're probably not going to get a deal done with Frankie Montas unless you trade Foscue or Duran or Harris or somebody of that nature. I'm not really looking for that. That's why I like Brad Keller, because he's still a good starting pitcher, but not going to cost as much as Montas. You could look at Paul Blackburn, has 3 years of team control remaining. He's 28 years old. He's pitching almost as well as Frankie Montas. I just don't think the Athletics would actually do a trade for Blackburn since he has that much team control remaining and they're in a rebuild. So maybe look for one of their lower starting pitching prospects. And also, since they're in the division, I think they would make the trade kind of expensive. And then, like I said, you could look over to Cincinnati. They're pretty bad as well, the worst team in the National League. You could check in on Luis Castillo or Tyler Mahle. I don't think that really gets a deal done. You could definitely try to throw in Tavares or Apostle. Some of those prospects are on the fall or Colby Allard. See what that may start with, but you may have to get like when they're lower end guys. You never know. But that's why I like the Kansas City deal, because Brad Keller is probably going to be traded at the deadline, so why not trade him now, and the Rangers could just be on the upswing of things. But if the Rangers did trade with the Pirates, I'd look at JT Brubaker or Jose Quintana. And yes, Jose Quintana is only on a 1-year deal, but maybe you get him now for kind of cheap. And if the Rangers fall out of things, you could trade him at the deadline for hopefully a little bit more. But if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel because I'm your #1 source for all things Texas Rangers related on YouTube. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.